is the story of the people helping people all throughout this land of ours, because that's what we're all about. This is the story. This is the story of the people helping people all throughout this land of ours, because that's what we're all about. This is the story.
Hola, welcome to another edition of Powered by Volunteers. This is Lisa, coming to you from the great state of Texas. It is a fine May afternoon, coming to you from quarantine still. I'm not quite understand why the great state of Texas opened up today. Let's all stay in. Let's all enjoy our families, enjoy our friends on Zoom, and let's all enjoy Diego Reyes today, coming to us from El Paso. Hi, Diego.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good. It's hot in El Paso already.
You look fantastic. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to talk to you today. So let us know, how did you get involved with Beto Nation, with Beto Work? I understand you began with the Senate campaign.
Yes. So I always knew him because he was my congressman. So, you know, that's how I first knew him. Before he ran for Senate, obviously, I think he started in Congress in 2012. Yeah, because he got elected in 2011, I think. I have to look back on it. but no, sorry. When you could look up the information when he got elected. I'm spending too much time on trying to remember. But before that, he was actually my city councilman too. But I didn't really know him until I started paying attention more to politics, which was before the Senate run, around 2014, 2015. That's when I started looking up I need to look up who's my senators, who's my congressman, who's my elected officials. So I've heard his name, his name sounded, when I first looked him up, his name sounded familiar. And I was like, oh, okay, that's my congressman. Cool. And so, yeah, so the 2016 election happened. We all know how that turned out. And then, so around 2017 came around, and, there was talks about him running for Senate, a potential candidate. I wanted him to do it. I was like, oh yeah, he has the face, he has a face and mannerisms to do it. I saw him speak. He was a pretty good speaker. I was like, yeah, he should definitely go for it, because definitely see him running for Senate. And so I was right. He ran for Senate. And then around 2018, September, I started supporting him. As soon as he ran, as soon as he announced, I was like, yeah, I'm supporting him. He didn't really have a big primary. There were some opponents. There was someone who should not be named. She was his opponent. I'm not gonna name her, but you guys can look up that race. So it was I think it was a pretty easy win for him. The challenge was gonna come in the general election with Ted Cruz. So during that summer and fall, I started volunteering with him. I convinced my mom to come with me. I convinced some of my friends. They signed up, but then they always, they had a friend's excuse at the last minute. Oh, I had homework, I had this, I had that. They gave me an excuse why they couldn't come. I was like, okay, but I still did it anyways. I remember the first time I went the first volunteer event I did was I went block walking. That was pretty scary, doing it for the first time. I mean, I've done block walking before for Bernie in 2016, but that was my first time doing it for Beto. And yeah, so actually the first time I went block walking, I actually knocked on Veronica Escobar's house. If you don't know, she's currently our congresswoman in Paso now. So I knocked on her door, and it was funny because she didn't answer at first. So I was like, well, I'm pretty sure she's supporting him. So I just left, and and then I hear a yell hey, and I was like, it scared me. And then I looked up back to her house, and she was on the second story, and she had it was really cool because her house has one of those European windows where you could open it and you could look outside. So she's like, oh yeah, there's 4 people supporting Beto in this house. I was like, okay, thank you. So I marked them down, and so that was the first time I volunteered for him. And then come September, there was this ad on Facebook, and it said, it was because that's when he was already pushing out a bunch of ads on social media, and it said, oh, we're hiring for student fellows, like for the student campus organization. You know, it's a job, apply here. And so I saw it and I was like, oh, that seems cool. But I was kind of scared to apply because I was like, well, I don't have prior campaign experience. You know, there's probably a bunch of better candidates to take that job than me. But then I also thought, like, you know, I could just apply. Like, what else do I have to lose? And I wasn't currently working at the time, so, you know, it's not like all I had was school, so it's not like I had other prior commitments. So I applied, and then within a few days, I got an email that said that they wanted to have an interview over the phone, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was really excited, but I was still like kind of doubting myself. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get the job, but like I'll do the interview. Like thinking to myself. So I did the interview, and they asked me like, oh, why do you support him? You know, what can you bring? And so I just basically told him, like, you know, he was my congressman. I've saw him speak before, and I think that was after the quote about the NFL protesters. I said that was really inspirational. That really inspired me. And so the next day I get a call, and they said that they hired me. They're like, oh yeah, you got the job. Congratulations. By the way, there's a Zoom meeting. There's a Zoom meeting tonight.
We all love Zoom. You know, Speaking of inspiration, I know as someone old enough to be your aunt, let's just go with that. I'm very inspired by you, Diego, and all of our young volunteers within Beto Nation. I mean, you have no idea how incredibly rock and roll it is to see the younger people out there doing the work. It's just incredibly inspiring. And I know I told my own kids, you have no excuse. Let me show you someone's social media page. And I always come to yours, yours and Darini's and everybody else. I'm like, yeah. He's even younger than you, and look what he's doing. So and then getting to meet you, and you know, through social media and getting to see everything you're doing. I'm just, and I don't mean this at all in a condescending way. I am so proud of you and everything that you're doing. You are the future, and I know that we all kind of tease you about your future presidential run. It's really not a joke.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that. And I know now with Powered by People, because I myself, you know, do still Zoom, the phone banking for, you know, helping out with the Texas phone banks. What made you want to get involved with that?
Well, I saw you guys doing it, and then I saw Beto doing it, and I wasn't doing anything. I was just focused on school, so I was like, you know, I have all the spare time. Like, I gotta help out, you know, because I was like, you know, I can't retweet the stuff and then not do it. Like, that would be a hypocrite, like telling other people to go on, like retweeting Powered by People stuff and then not doing it. And plus I saw like hearing about the Lions in Texas, like how he was describing how they were like miles long and like they were desperate need of volunteers. And so that's when I decided that's when I wanted to like really help out. And you know, what made it a lot easier to help out was the Zoom calls that we did together, where we all do it together. Or it's like you don't feel like you're doing it alone. You feel like you could see other people making calls, like when they celebrate with you when you get a volunteer, and then you celebrate with them when they get a volunteer. You know, it makes it a lot easier. It makes the time go a lot faster, because I don't know if I could do it alone. I mean, I could, but I would prefer to do it in a group setting than just to do it alone, because I'm really introverted and like I'm really scared to talk to people. I mean, you wouldn't be able, I guess, like hearing the first part of my story, applying for the campaign, you wouldn't believe that, but I was scared during the campaign, during the Senate campaign too, like having to talk to people, you know, but you know,
Yeah.
it's work that has to be done. You know, I felt even. I remember going block walking for him like during the end of the campaign, and I just remember being real exhausted and tired. You know, I've been out in the sun all day. I've signed up for multiple shifts. My feet hurt, but I just kept thinking like if I quit now, then like what if I lose out on the few houses that what if I lose out on a few houses, and those houses could have been the houses that Ted Cruz needed to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so, like I kept going, and I just did it until like it started to get dark. And I feel like it's the same way with the phone banks too. It's like if I don't make these calls, what if, you know, we miss out on people that would want to volunteer, you know. And so
Yeah.
that's why I continued like I did the first sign up Zoom call, and I went to the next one, to make sure that we get as many people as possible to those food banks to volunteer.
Yeah, and I mean, we absolutely appreciate it. I mean, the sense of community is real within Beto Nation. I think that really helps, seeing Beto doing it, seeing you doing it, seeing everybody doing it, and being able to be on those phone bank calls where we do cheer each other on. And then we bring more volunteers in. I mean, that's what it's all about, to volunteer up. And I think something everyone really appreciates about you also is the fun side of you on social media. We get to see your little posts, you know, whenever you're out and about in El Paso. You've got that going for you, because you'll post little pictures where you've run the same jogging route as Beto, and you guys post the same photos. And it's like, Beto was here. He posted this photo earlier. Now I'm here too.
I just like to say that one of those photos, I was there first, okay? Like a lot of those photos, I was there first, and like the next day or that he'll post the same photo. So it's not like I see what he.
So he's following you. So you're the leader.
Yes.
there. I get what you're saying. Sure. And everybody follow Diego on TikTok too. The man can dance. Those TikTok videos they're everything. They even have my son now on TikTok doing a little dance to the same song. So those are everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to get everyone following you on all social media platforms.
Definitely.
That's what I'm here for.
So all I do is just post dance videos now.
Well, yeah, isn't that what life is about? Dancing? Well, thank you, Diego, so much for talking with us today. This is Lisa with Powered by Volunteers. Everybody have a great day out there.